Darren Barker.
And I'm Spencer Oliver.
I'm Sylvester Stallone.
I'm David Hayne.
I'm Burley.
I'm James DeGale.
I'm Angel Townsend.
I'm Carl Frost.
And
this is The Live Show.
This is The Live Show.
This is The Live Show.
Yeah, I mean, the first fight was similar to that as well.
Yeah, and it was just toe to toe. I don't think neither of them could punch. That just made it. They were just in front of each other, just bashing one another.
It's always make fights, don't they? Sometimes I think with them two, I don't matter how many times they fight, they're always going to be even, and they just knock the life out of each other.
It's like, I mean, you must have had it in your career because you can punch. It was just like the war all the time. It's a bit like me.
No, in your fights, it wasn't a case of wars because you didn't like to have the fight.
No. Oh man, that's why everyone said I had the best footwork. To stay out of trouble. But I mean, the show as a whole. Look, everyone knew what it was. It was all geared towards Hayes Briggs. So both the fights, Hayes and the chief support Briggs, were just. I mean, I mean, it's getting enough stick anyway. Hayes' opponent was horrendous. You know, he really was bad. I mean, we'll get to Briggs in a minute. Briggs was even worse, but Hayes was. I mean, like I say, it was all gearing towards Briggs.
How did the geezer out of 29 fights, 29 wins with 21 knockouts and perform like that? Because I saw him get hit with a jab, and it's the only time I've seen a fighter actually looking where to fall before he went down on the floor. I mean, he was bad, wasn't he?
He was really bad. I mean, it just shows you the difference in nations. You know, it's just some of these Eastern European countries are strong. They're strong nations, but some of them, I mean, they're horrendous. And majority of them are genuine. I mean, you put that Georgiev, I can't remember how to pronounce his name, but he was
bad.
I mean, he's a heavyweight journeyman in England. I'm not being, I'm not being mean, but we all know what it's all about. It was building Hay up. Give him some credit. He done the job. And he has been out for 4 years, other than the one he had previous. So he's entitled to a couple of fights. Don't get me wrong, though. The atmosphere in there was buzzing. You know, it was absolutely booming. People come out. There was out force to support him. I think the boxing fan and even the general sports fan have been brought in by this Hay-Briggs rivalry. They want to see it. There is genuine bad blood. Wherever it's come from, Joe, where it has come from, it's just Hay is had enough of Briggs's.
Yeah, but Briggs is smart anyway, because you know, like David Hayes, a businessman, and we all know that David Hayes is a businessman. He can get out the O2 arena. It's all about wanting to fight Andy Joshua long term, which is the big money fight. Yeah. But he's clever. He's put Shannon Briggs on there. Briggs is over here to earn some money as well, and he's come over here. He's been shouting his mouth off. We've met him a few times, different weigh-ins at the Andy Joshua weigh-in, calling out David Hayes, slagging him off all the time. Been quite comical, if I'm honest, but he's sort of captured the public imagination. People do want to see that fight. I mean, let's talk about Briggs' performance on Saturday. Yes, he blew him away, but how does he look? Well, I've got to ask you this. You might be able to fill me in on this, because 4 or 5 years ago, he was up to about 400 pounds in weight. He was huge. Now the guy is just ripped to pieces.
So are you trying to say that I'm in fantastic shape? That's why I might be able to answer this. I'll take that.
No, because you've been close to him all week, because he was working on the show and whatnot. And I just want to know, obviously he was going through a bad time in his life. He says he was depressed, put on loads of weight. But I mean, he's in phenomenal shape. By the way, he says he's 44. I remember him boxing before I was boxing. So, and he don't look 44. He don't look 44.
I think he's just transformed his life. He's turned it around. He's he hit bad depression. Everyone knows about it, common knowledge. And I think he's just he feels he has something left. Don't get me wrong, right? And a lot of people have dismissing the fight, saying it's a waste of time. I think for 2 rounds at least, there's going to be fireworks. By the way, don't get me wrong. I know who Briggs was fighting. He was horrendous. He was horrendous. He's one of the worst fighters I've ever seen in a pro boxer. I mean that. I know we've seen Freddie Flintoff in a bloody pro ring. There weren't much difference between the two.
He worse than Freddie Flintoff.
I'm telling you that, he was terrible. He was absolutely terrible. But he can whack, and he'll be lively. He goes, he knows he can punch, so he'll just go hell for leather for as long as he lasts. I think
people that don't know, Briggs back in the day when he boxed Lennox Lewis, he had Lennox Lewis all over the place. I think in the first or second round, Lennox obviously turned it around and done him, but he showed a lot of heart, getting up a few times. I think Lennox done him in the fifth or sixth, something around there. And I remember it vaguely because I was only very young. But he can, but he can fight. And I think he might take it to David for a couple of rounds. I don't know if he could take it into the later parts, but it'd be an interesting fight. But David gets past Shannon Briggs. Let's move on with this. David gets past Shannon Briggs. What does he need to do? Where does he need to go? I mean, because you're going to have to improve the caliber of opponents. If he's talking about boxing Andy Joshua, you can't be boxing. He needs a live wire opponent. He needs to get someone ranked in the top 10.
Well, for one, we'll just go back to Briggs. I think that he loses to Hay, that's in the Briggs, right?
Yeah.
He'll go back to America with tail between his legs, and that would be the end of him. But then I remember seeing Hay in Highgate, not far from us, just it must have been a few months before he announced his return. And he said then, he goes, I'm going to come back, blah, blah. He goes, and I went, what was the AJ fight? He goes, that's the one. He goes, and he's a clever man. You know, he went out. You got to remember, Hay went out on a win.
Yeah.
You know, he banged out Chisora, and then he thought, hold on, I'll just see what's happening. I've done everything in the sport. I'll just wait for these lads to build themselves up, like AJ has, and probably quicker than he's expected, obviously winning the world title. And then he thought, well, I'll come back now. He beats Briggs, I would say.
Where do you think he goes after he beats Briggs? What sort of caliber of opponent? I think
he has the fight. I think he has the AJ fight. I think they'll somehow push him up the IBF rankings, but they get a sanctioning fee, so they'll sanction the fight. They'll put him in the top 20. Hold on, because AJ would have used up his 2 voluntaries, wouldn't he? So then he would be in line for a mandatory. So I think David's plan was that he was looking to box AJ early 2017, around that sort of time, maybe springtime 2017, which would mean that he would need more than a Briggs fight, in my option, to take that fight. He needs at least another 2 fights, and he needs someone to take him in the second half of the fight, because let's have it right. I mean, who would win out of him and AJ? I'm going to go AJ. I'll tell you why he pulls out. I can tell you, not because I'm inside your mind. I can tell you why he pulls out, because you don't know what he's got left. Because I think a Pete David Hay would give AJ all sorts of problems. But we don't know what he's got left, and we ain't going to find that out by inboxing Shannon Briggs and this dude who he boxed on Saturday. That I can't even pronounce his name because I don't really want to remember his name, if I'm honest, because he was that bad. Yeah, I mean, he's a different. For me, Hay has to fight AJ ASAP because he's only going to get better, Anthony Joshua. He's on the way up. He's still on the way up. Yeah, but David's got a lot of ring rust to get rid of as well. I think he's best off just going in there now. Well, it'll be interesting to see what people think, if anyone's got any options on this one, because me and Darren can't seem to agree on it, on where we think is. Who wins now? Say they fight next. AJ fights. It's a tough fight, man. I fancy that. I would lean towards AJ, but it wouldn't surprise me if it went the other way. I know that's someone gives you 10 grand. You have to bet every penny of it on one of them. Who are you betting on? And they fight after their 2 fights. So he fights after. I'd have to put my money on AJ. Yeah, I'd have to. I think you'd be stupid if you didn't. Just because he seems to be improving rapidly with every fight, and we pretty much know we don't know what David's got left, but we know what David's got at his best. So Mimi TV I think Hay is the better fighter. He's 35. If he beats him next year, Hay will win. Right? Okay. Oh, let me talk about that one. Hold on. Let's put it back a bit. I think Hay's the best heavyweight out there at the moment. Yes, at his best, he's going to be hard to beat. I'm guessing that's Hay. Yeah. I mean, David Hay will beat AJ right now. See, I think that's the feeling of a lot of people. Look, Hay beats AJ. I think that's a general feeling with a lot of people, and I even think that AJ's team think that right now. Not that they don't think he'll beat him, but they think it'll be a more difficult fight. That AJ needs more experience.
I think if you was part of AJ's team, if I was part of his team, I'd say, listen, let's get another couple of fights under our belts, like grow into that world championship status.
How do you do that though? Once you run a world title, that's it. You're there with a big.
Yeah, no, but you still need to
step back.
I'm not saying step back. I'm saying grow into it. Right. It's different. So what I'm saying is because I'd like to see AJ get taken a few rounds. I'd like to see him box Parker, who boxed at the weekend as well. We talk about a little bit as well. That was a tough fight for him.
I got absolute stick. I did for that. I said on there. I don't know if you see it on Twitter. I said it's a bigger mismatch as Mayweather and McGregor, and the reason I said this is because AJ punches too hard, and Parker could not get out of the way of Takam. Was it Takam?
Yeah, Takam. Yeah.
Takam punches, and Takam for me, okay, though he's a tested world class operator, no, he's never beaten anyone. But
yeah, Takam's. I didn't look at him and think, wow, he's a world beater. And Parker struggled, though he is 24, and I felt a little bit harsh, but I just think it is a mismatch. Though Parker deserves a shot, I think it's a mismatch because he's too easy to hit, and AJ punches hard. I think I'll agree with you on this rare occasion that you're right. He don't move his head, and anyone that don't move their head against AJ is going to get seriously hurt because, like, we've been at ringside, and he's one of those rare people that I've ever felt the punches from outside the ropes with AJ. You rarely get that, and I've been at ringside with Lennox Lewis and a lot of others, but AJ
is the biggest
hitter without a doubt.
Well, the majority here are all mostly dealing with Hay here. When AJ hasn't the talent yet, but he's still too stiff. Hay would KO AJ. Do you know one thing, right? Well, the only worry I have with AJ, aside from him being with the big boys now so early on after 16 fights, is physique is just getting bigger and bigger. Almost like Bruno. You know, like he's so athletic and quick and he moves well.
Well, I think the athleticism. Do you like that?
Yeah, good words.
Yeah, the athleticism.
We both went to the same school and didn't teach us anything.
I think the athleticism.
We didn't learn the vowels till year 11.
He's starting to go because he's getting too big. I agree with you. I think he needs to trim it down and get that shape back because he is getting a little bit Bruno-esque. Yeah. Bruno-esque?
Okay, man. What's going on? Read the dictionary.
Well, I'm saying, so yeah, I think that some of the people that are saying there AJ's getting too big, too stiff, and Haywood, that's Hayes very elusive, and if he hits you, Hay, you stay hit.
Yeah. And and he's got that speed with it, hasn't he? Do you know what I noticed as well, being there the other day, is how he's fitting out now. I know that weight-wise, I can't remember what it was. Was he a bit lighter? I'm not sure. But Hayes' legs are massive. I'm not joking.
I think he was about 16 and a half stone, something like that.
We've got Tyson Fury would beat them all, no problem. AJ isn't ready yet. Even Price, who seems to have disappeared, would beat AJ. Right, guess 187, 1870. I don't know how you can think Price.
I don't even think
AJ. It would be a one round, 100%. I like David, and I used to run with him in the amateurs when we watched for England, but he just can't hold a shot at that level, at that top level. Yeah. And with AJ, it's just.
And I think the problem with a fighter, once a fighter's been knocked out, like he did Pricey twice against Kevin Johnson, I think once he's been knocked out, then I think that's always. Oh, sorry, Tony Thompson. That's always been a problem, and so now when David Price gets hit, he's expecting to get hurt, and I think we've seen that a few times. I mean, that's why I don't think David Price really will go at that level because if these guys like AJ or David Hay hit him, he's going to stay hit, David Price. Which is a shame. He's boxing a game on Sunday, by the way. We'll be talking a little bit about him later on in the show.
We've got Jason Bennett. Jason, if you want to ask this question face to face, remember, just create an account on Mimi TV and you come on stage, request that, you can ask it, but I'll read it out anyway. I'll ask you, Spen, if you could see AJ fight anyone, who would it be? Would it be Fury? Would it be?
Well, no, I think I'd love to see AJ fight Fury. That's the one fight that I'd really like to see. One, because Fury talks so much about how he's the greatest heavyweight out there. So I think he's got to clean up the division. Like, he's going to have to get past David Hay. He's going to have to get past AJ before he starts giving it a big one because he beat Klitschko. That's a tough fight he's got, by the way, to return to Klitschko. I'm not sure that he'll even win that fight. But yeah, I think that I would love to see AJ box Fury more than anyone, if I'm honest.
Yeah. For him or I'm probably with you. I'm probably leaning towards Fury.
Yeah, I think for excitement,
there'd be more bad blood.
No, for the excitement factor, David Haye versus AJ would be more exciting than Fury versus AJ. Fury would try and mess him around. It would get a bit messy, try and tie him up, and AJ would obviously just go out there and look to get rid of him. So for excitement factor, I think AJ and Haye. For the fight that I would like to see, I'd like to see AJ Fury.
So we've got guest 187 is not a big fan of AJ. This is typical of the media and the bandwagon. AJ is a natural, he's an artificially cloned boxer, far too rigid and stiff. I mean, I don't know how you can say it. He ain't put a foot wrong. Yeah, he wobbled against Dillian White, but for me, that's a positive. But if you go down, he's shown he's got a good chin.
Yeah, but the difference is we see AJ in the gym, so we see him training up and close, and we see what he can do, and we see the agility of him, and we see the athleticism of him. And you know, I know you're going on about him being too stiff and too bulky, whatever, but trust me, this geezer is very like in the gym. He's so quick, and he pretty much takes down to anything. If he played basketball, he'd be good at basketball. If he played football, he'd be good at football. He's one of those guys. He's not just like a big breeze block. Yeah, I agree that he's getting too big, but I still think that he's elusive enough. If I'm honest.
Just watching him on the 100-meter track is you can't get in your head.
Yeah, I know he nearly beat me.
What was it, Hamburg at the finish line or something? Where we at?
Right, where we're at. So let's move on. Well, look, that's David Haye last week, talking a little bit about AJ. Yeah, moving on to this week. We've got a double header this week. We've got Saturday night, we've got Ricky Burns looking to make history, trying to be the first Scottish boxer to win a world title at 3 different weights. Can he do it against Michel DeRocco? I believe he can, mate.
I do. I mean, DeRocco is a seasoned pro. He's a good fighter. For me, European level,
max.
You know, but where max. He's got to be that. I mean, he's cracking on.
Look, I saw
down that way. What's he? 34.
Yeah.
He's got the amateur pedigree. He was a good amateur, so he's no mug. He knows his way around the ring. I just think, like I say, he's European at best. Whereas I think Ricky, with the way he's training and the dedication and the commitment he's showing to sport and the chemistry he's showing with Tony, I just think he's still got not even one more. I think he's got a few big fights left in him, and I think DeRocco is a fight.
Do you think though, Burns? Like, we'll talk about DeRocco in a minute, but let's move on to Burns. Do you think Burns is past his best now?
Do I think Burns is past his best? Yeah. Well, the fight you worked on against Figueroa.
Yeah, that was
tough. American Mexican who is relentless. Ricky moved up a weight, and it was other than the 2 points off he had, there was nothing between them, and that made me think, you know what?
He's got a lot left still.
He has got a lot left. Is he past his best? Possibly, but there's still a lot left.
Yeah. Good answer. Well, DeRocco, let's talk about him. So he beat Lenny Dawes for the European title back in 2013. Yeah. Lenny Dawes won that fight, by the way. It was in Italy. Watched the fight. Watched it the other day, funny enough. And Lenny Dawes definitely won the fight. He was unlucky not to get the decision. So when you compare Lenny Dawes, Ricky Burns, Ricky Burns got to start a massive favour.
Yeah, got to. Well, he's the former world champion, and with them fights, Terence Crawford as well. Went 12 rounds with Terence Crawford. I mean, one of the marquee names in world boxing. I mean, and I'll keep going back now, and I'm not just saying this because he was my trainer, but the chemistry they're showing, and we've said this when we've gone to the other gyms and we've seen people working. We said it with Shane and Groves. There's that chemistry, and Tony and Ricky have that. And I think being this late on in your career, Ricky knows his way around the ring. He knows how to work. He knows how to fight. But I think he just needs someone to put an arm around his shoulder, like a man manager, just to bring out the best in him. So and I think Tony's getting that.
People wouldn't know, like Ricky Burns, after losing his second reign as world champion, lost the world title, packed his bags and moved down to London, left Billy Nelson, and come down to London with Tony Sims. That takes a lot of doing, man, to do that at that stage of your career. Because a lot of fighters would have hung their gloves up then.
Yeah.
So to do that shows that he's still got the ambition. I believe he's going to win definitely on Saturday night. I think he's got weight. Yeah, definitely on points. the Rocco, I don't think will bring enough to the table for him, especially with Burns looking to make history and being in Scotland as well. And I can't wait for that. I'm
looking forward to it. He's always in a good fight, Ricky, isn't he? And he's tough. And one thing I am impressed with him also when he's down the gym, he's training just as hard, and he's as the youngsters down there who are kind of being a Harald Davis, Martin Ward, he puts it in as much as them. And
he's sparring.
Yeah.
How does the sparring go? Because you see that first.
I mean, it's the energy and the athleticism of the younger lot. But he shows his experience, and they show their you team up with it. So I think he's rubbing shoulders.
Yeah, but I was how does the sparring go? That's what I'm asking you. Harald Davis.
Well, you know what it's like. It's the
but some sparring is heavy, man. I've seen sparring down there before, heavy. Like, do you know what I mean? It's not like they hold back too much.
None of them do. And I mean, anyone who's watched the Harald Davis fight, he's an absolute nightmare. But Ricky, with his experience and his ring craft, he knows how to sort of handle these youngsters who are trying to rip his head off. But it's competitive sparring, and I think having youngsters in there who are lively and want to prove a point is good for Ricky. You don't want to be sparring with these experienced old fighters where it's all one pace and it's you're not going to learn anything. I think having that youth in there with Ricky is brilliant.
So we're going to be taking, just to let you know, we'll be taking the cameras down next week. We're going down to the Matchroom gym just to get some film footage from down there, speak to a few of the people.
Yeah.
So we'll be doing that in a week, which will be really cool.
I've got to say, guess 187, he don't like anyone, mate. Sorry, guys, Scott will be beat again. He's out to have us, I think. 187, but we're project.
Why don't he come up? I'd like guess 187.
Yeah, come up, have a chat with us. Ali Spratt, if Burns wins, could he move up to welterweight and compete for a world title at fourth weight? I reckon. No, don't you? I reckon it'd be in his head. Hold on a minute. We have got one of the standout coaches in British boxing just come up here, Dave Coldwell, who's got a big fight with his fighter on Sunday, Tony Bellew. Just bring Dave up. Well, it's sort of fast track to Sunday's show. There it is. Mr.
Coldwell. Good, mate, you haven't slagged you off yet. How comes you come up? We haven't even started on you yet.
Popped in to see what you're on about. I'm listening to you talking about Ricky Burns. I thought, it's all good, mate. It's all good.
But listen, let's fast track to Sunday because that's where we was going. Tony Bellew versus Damaku. How's the fight go, mate? Tell us about it.
It's a really good fight. It's a tough fight, but it's a fight that I believe that my man wins. It's
really.
Listen, he's an underdog, and I understand why he's an underdog. And to be honest, I agree. On paper, I'm happy for him to be an underdog. Yeah. But Makabu is a great body puncher. He's very slick on the inside. He's a slick fighter. He's not crude.
He is slick.
But he can be hit, and if he can be hit, you can be outboxed. And if you can be outboxed against somebody that somebody carries power, then you can get knocked out. And I think it could be a really hard, grueling fight in stages, a little bit down the stretch. But I do think Tony could stop him.
Have you prepared for that? I mean, obviously we watched Makabu on tape yesterday, and look at him, tricky southpaw throws, wicked left uppercuts on the inside, tries to draw his fight into a fight. Now, in the past, we've seen Tony get drawn into fights. He can't afford to make that mistake.
No, he can't. He's got to be disciplined. That's the thing that he's been showing in sparring. He's not been throwing himself with his punches. He's not been when he goes hard and he wants to land the big bombs. He's not been throwing himself out. He's been going with good technique in sparring. And as long as he's with good technique, when he does want to let go of his power punches, then I think he's got to get himself in a position in order to land the shots with this fella.
Who's he been sparring with, Dave? Can you tell us?
No, I'll tell you after the fact.
Is that all some secret?
I'll tell you after. Well, you're coming on next week then. Make sure you come on next week. We'd like to actually get Tony on. If he's still in the country, we were talking about this, we'd like to come up and do him live, have him on as a live guest for next week.
Yeah, the 4 of us.
So all 4 of us can chat about the fight, and please God, he's got that WBC title.
Dave, how's his weight going now? How is he up and cruising now? Is he settled in?
He is a cruiserweight. You know, people are saying, "Oh, yeah, he should be at light heavyweight." I don't know if you remember how we used to look or feel at light heavyweight. I used to see him at the weigh-in because back then I wasn't training him, but was close mates. So I'd see him at a weigh-in, and he'd come and give me a hug. And you know, when you put your arms around someone, all you feel is bones on the back. Oh, it was horrible.
Yeah.
It was horrible.
I remember him boxing at light heavy, and commentating on a few of his fights. And mate, he just looked like death warmed up. He did. He looked pasty. His eyes were sunk.
Yeah.
I think it's a definite good move moving up to cruiserweight.
Do you know? I noticed a difference in his whole demeanour since he's boxed at cruiserweight. You know, before people was going about how he's too hot-headed and he's ranting and he's raving, he's a bit of a lunatic. When have you seen him like that at cruiserweight? You know, there's a reason for that. Because that, you know, you're both fighters that you two make weight. Now, when you're not starving yourself to make a weight, you're happy. You're eating, you're more comfortable in yourself, so you're not as edgy. You know, you're not liable to lose your rag at any second. You know, and
you can concentrate on the game plan, can't you? Yeah. You're not like, for me. Sometimes the battle was the fight was losing the weight, and you forget who you're fighting and what the tactics are and all that, and you just I've got to lose 2 pounds a day, I've got to lose 3 pounds, I've got to do this. You know, it's a nightmare. It takes over your preparation.
Yeah. And there's a good question here. Good question just come up, Dave. Sorry, from Darren Jones. Question for Dave. Hopefully, when Tony wins a world title on Sunday, will he continue or retire? As surely winning a world title at Goodison Park can't get better than that for him. No. Now he has had I'm saying he has had a long career, and people will be wondering, will he have fulfilled his dream? Is that enough, or does he want it? What he's basically asking is, what sort of hunger will he have left after he wins that world title?
Straight away, he's already said straight away he wants to unify. He wants to fight Lebedev.
Right. Wow. Good.
You know, he wants to unify straight away. So you know, hopefully, please God, we win Sunday. That's the direction he wants. So he's certainly not going to be retiring. Okay. Certainly not.
So we've got 8th, 9th round. All right, 8 Alice Spratt. So we're changing fighters here. It's quite funny. Dave, can you actually tell the difference between Jamie and Gavin McDonald?
Do you know what? The funny thing is, before I started training him, before I even managed Jamie, I'd see him at shows. I think I saw him at a couple of shows in Leeds and things like that, and I didn't have a clue who I was talking to. Yeah. Now I work with them.
Well,
I can tell.
I know you don't drink a lot, mate. But you try having a drink and trying to sell them a bite. That's even worse.
I know Dave don't drink much, but we had a bit of fun in Birmingham once, didn't we, Dave? Do you remember that?
Yeah, because I don't drink and you got me drunk.
What, me? Nothing to do with me.
No, it's brilliant, mate. Brilliant. Is there any more questions out there?
Listen, I'll tell you something. Yeah. Sunday night, I guarantee you, I'm getting absolutely smashed from that World Title. Absolutely. I'll drink you on the tail.
Well, listen, Dave, before you go, mate, so if or when he wins a world title on there, we'd love you to come on next week. You and Tony, if he's around, we'll come up to Sheffield or wherever you're at. And we'll do the show live. We'll do the show live with you. And then we'll take you up and that, taking you out and getting you drunk. But we want to wish you, mate, the best of luck. Wish Tony the best of luck. And let's stay in touch, and we'll speak on Monday, and hopefully we can come up and see you next week.
Team Bellew.
Let's go. Good luck, Dave. Good luck,
nice
mate.
One, Dave.
God bless, mate.
Take care, mate.
Good luck. All right, mate. That's good.
That was a nice surprise, wasn't it?
Little random one. So, listen. That's what I'm saying. Moving on to the Bellew fight, that is a tough fight. We've seen who he can fight. But if Bellew's ever going to do it, mate, at Goodison Park, which has been his childhood dream, I mean, he's going to throw everything in the kitchen sink.
Do you know what? You know, sometimes when it's written, it doesn't always go the way you think it's going to. I mean, straight away, I'm just going to go to football. I can't believe Mourinho has signed for Man United. But I remember when at Moscow, Champions League final against Man United, John Terry steps up for the winning penalty. All he's got to do is score it, and we won it. The captain, the player who's been there his whole life, and he missed it. He scored it, and we lost the Champions League. So Tony has got to be switched on. Just because he's fighting at home and everything's there. He's, you know, and you think, it's written.
Do you think at this stage of his career, because he's made them mistakes before, we saw against Oval McKenzie before, made a massive mistake, nearly lost the fight, we've got off the floor 2 or 3 times, come back, won the fight, and then in the return, boxed his socks off. So what I'm saying is I think he's made them mistakes in the past, and I don't think by boxing as good as Barker made them mistakes again. If he sticks to the game plan and makes no mistakes at all, he can win the fight. If he makes one fundamental mistake, he can get taken out.
What impressed me with Makaba, other than the fact he can whack, was how slick he is.
Yeah.
He like a lot of the African fighters are very rugged, and they come forward, and there's not much natural talent or skill there. That Makaba, I'm telling you, I was so impressed with how he moved his head and went for the shots, and like you were saying, the left uppercut, a brilliant uppercut, and he goes through the gears. It'll be some arm punches, then he'll really let him go. It's just, you don't know where he's going to be, what angles he's good on the back foot, on the front foot. So what Dave's saying there is spot on. It has to be a discipline.
Do you know what I like about it? That they know that, they both know that. Dave knows it has to be punch perfect. Listening to Eddie earlier on in the week, Eddie Hearn, his promoter, he knows it punch perfect. They all know one mistake, and even Tony Bellew knows that. And I believe that he won't make that mistake, and I think he'll go out there and he'll win that world title. I really do.
Well, I do.
I think it's just there and written.
I know we both said how difficult it'd be, but I think we both know it. With a disciplined performance, you'll win it. And
exactly.
He has damaged pedigree. I'll tell you one, there's a good one here. Ali Spratt again. Do you think Tony Bellew will eventually go up to heavyweight? He seems critical of David Hay a lot. Could he fill out?
He was a heavyweight as an amateur.
He was, wasn't he? Yeah.
Mind you, to be fair, he wasn't in the best of shape then when he was heavyweight as an amateur. But he won the ABA. So yeah, I think that he could. I think he could. He's got the potential to move on. I think his body would allow him to do it. Yeah. He's not a type of fighter like. Think of the tall, like an Enzo Macronelli, who could never have gone up to heavyweight. He was just a tall, skinny kid who was cruiserweight. He's gone down. No, what I'm saying is just weighing up.
Of course.
Different frames and stuff. I think that he's got the potential to move up there if he ever wanted to. But I think his main focus at the moment is winning the world title. And so best of luck to him on Saturday night. Yeah. I can't wait if he does come on there. I promise you, we will hound David Coldwell. We'll get them both on because I know Benny would do that. He'll come on the show. So please God he wins on Sunday, and that'll be our guest next week.
Guest, it's good. Guest 187. He's saying Tony Bellew control aggression much better. Yeah, that's it. That's the blueprint. That is the plan. That there's no secrets there. I'd have liked to have known he was sparring with him anyway. Go on, Spin.
Listen, wicked undercard there as well. We've got Stephen Smith, Callum Smith, Paul Smith, all the Smiths, David Price. Where do we see David Price fitting into this heavyweight mix?
Well,
I know we touched on it earlier on. But I think we pretty much summed it up, didn't we? I think that he's probably, as much as I love David, and if he hits anyone, they'll go to sleep. The worry is that if he gets it, will he go to sleep? I think that's the problem.
Your chin, can you? It sounds harsh, but he's not one of the lighter weights. He's in with the big punches. He's a heavyweight. And just going back to AJ, he's not going to take one of them big right hands. You said yourself, you've seen it up close, right at ringside, how hard he hits.
Yes.
With how fragile he is around the chin. Don't get me wrong, I mean, we say he's fragile, but like it's heavyweight boxing, but he's been hit. He hasn't been hit as hard as AJ, in my opinion.
Sure.
And it looks like you're going on about AJ. I'm just saying, we're 16 fights, 16 wins, all knockouts. You've got to sort of class him as one of the biggest pound punchers in the world, regardless if you like him or not. So that for me is going to be a problem because there's no doubt of his ability and his talent and his pedigree. It's just the question marks on his chin. That is it. But I wouldn't be gobsmacked if he was to win a version of the world title just through somehow, adapting his style.
He's got a lot of talent, that's without a doubt. But listen, that's pretty much all the boxing summed up for this weekend. So David Hayes summed up for last weekend. Loads of stuff we're going to be talking about again next week. I want to switch it up a little bit here. As you know, me and Darren do our head-to-heads. We're currently 4-4. We've done some amazing head-to-heads, but nothing like this one that we're just about to show you. This week, or last week, we've done our show from the Premier Darts Finals. Well, we somehow blagged our way onto doing a head-to-head in front of 22,000 people, right between the semi-finals and the finals. we blagged our way on to get to do our head-to-head on at the darts. You got to take a look at this. It's great stuff. This is mine and Darren's head-to-head to see who's going to go up 5-4. The loser obviously got to jump out of a plane on July the 14th.
Which is booked, by the way, with the Red Devils.
July the 14th, we've got to jump out of a plane. We're both shit scared fights, if I'm honest. So, look, let's take a look and see how this week's head-to-head went.
Foreman, Spencer Oliver, and the former IBF Middleweight Champion of the World, battling Darren Barker! All right then. What?
Shit, what you got on there?
9-dart challenge. Who's got the minerals? Let's find out. How do you go, Ross?
Right out, Spencer throwing first. 3. 23. 28.
Yeah, you have to get the dart, Spencer.
Right, Darren. Not a lot to break.
Come on, Darren, middleweight champion of the world. Come on, Darren.
Good. 18. 36.
Oh, he's into the lead.
37.
Come on, Spencer. If you miss a double top, you won't be able to reach.
20. 12. 32. 47.
47. Come on, mate.
Pull that back, that's too late.
You're doing all right, Spencer.
You're doing all right, Spencer.
Darren. 20. 21. 17. Right.
Don't you get the darts out?
Right, you're 33 behind Spence. And he get 33 and start scoring 20. 21. 41.
Oh, he's still in the shot.
Just about. Right,
Is that
Darren,
not get 9?
you want 9 or more.
9 or more, Darren.
9 or more. 3. 8.
It's a draw.
No, it's not a draw.
You're sure?
Game, shot, match. To the
Brilliant. Once only. All right. Come on, let's get a picture. Come on, in you go.
Can you believe that? Can you believe that? Darren Barker never thrown a dart in his life. I'm knocking around with them dart players every week, and he goes, it's a bullseye. I mean, how did you do that, mate?
I don't know, but I'll tell you one thing. I must have had about over 120 fights. I've never been that nervous in my life. I was absolutely bricking it. I mean, it was nerve-wracking when it backstage
It was. And we had the whole walk-on thing, and you don't know how the crowd are going to respond because you don't know what sort of reception you get there. They was going bananas. That was one of the best experiences I've had, I've got to be honest. And I'm glad he won because it was his birthday, by the way, as well.
Yeah, it was.
It's one of the rare times that I'd actually like him to beat me.
Any gifts, the live show at yahoo.com, just send them there.
Yeah.
Was it live at the O2? It was. It was Premier League darts final. Van Gogh won, didn't he?
Yeah, Van Gogh won, yeah.
We had
Phil Taylor, Van Gogh and beat Taylor in the final. It was just a cracking night, if I'm honest. It was really, really cool. And, Darren done me at the darts by 1 point. Can you believe it?
It is 5-4 to me. We've still got plenty of head-to-head to do. We've got some funny ones coming up as well, haven't we? I mean,
we've got some real funny ones coming up. We're going to do the beer pong challenge.
Beer pong. Remember, we're 2 retired boxers, so we're allowed to drink that much alcohol, so we're all right. But we're going to do beer pong. which I quite fancy myself because I was in Vegas recently and I was quite that hand at the beer pong.
Yes.
So I fancy that. So 5-4, July the 14th, we're booked into one of us 100% has to jump out playing on July the 14th, obviously weather permitting, with the Red Devils. Me and Spencer are petrified of heights. So the thought of it, I'm not joking, I was sweaty palms now thinking about it, and it's all going to be filmed and everything. So
it's going to be hilarious. Yeah, Darren's been bricking it since the day we actually mentioned it. Now it's becoming a reality. The nerves are just killing him, so he's just praying that he beats me, and I've got to do everything I can to beat him. Yeah. Really looking forward to this one. Listen, that pretty much sums up what has been an amazing show. You, by the way, forgot to do the question thing with Dave Coldwell.
Did forget to do it.
Yeah.
I want to say it's still there. Does anyone, just quickly, I'm going to give it like 10 seconds. Anyone want to come on and do my quick fire round? Just got to request a chat and I'll do the quick fire with you.
Little quick
fire.
Come on.
Who wants to do it?
Anyone? No one?
Request a chat because it's like an auction, isn't it?
Yeah.
Go once.
Go in twice.
Twice.
And the end of the quick fire.
Do it.
And that's pretty much the end of our show, if I've got to be honest. It's been great chatting with you again this week. Make sure you come on next week, every Thursday, 8 p.m. You can get us live and interactive. We take all your questions, come up and watch some of the stuff. This week we're going to be going down to Matchroom, filming some footage down there, hopefully. We're also going to do some head-to-head. So loads of stuff going on at the moment. Yeah, we're going to have some great stuff down at the Matchroom gym with all the boys. They're all in full training at the moment. So that's going to be real cool. Hope you've enjoyed this show. You got anything to say?
No, it's a good one.
Yeah,
you've covered it all there. Thank you very much, guest 1831. Fantastic show. 1831. What if you tire? I suppose we toss a coin.
Yeah, if we don't know, we're both jumping out.
Both go out.
Well, that's the only fair way. If I'm honest, you can't toss a coin to jump out of a plane at 9,000 feet.
Oh, if it means I may not have to do it, then I'd rather toss a coin.
All right, that's fair enough. We toss a coin. So that's where it will be. So yeah, just keep watching the shows, keep watching the head-to-heads, see how it all goes. But yeah, great show. Great show. Next week, obviously going to be all about Tony Bellew. Will he win the world title? And Ricky Burns. Will he win the world title? But we will be up there live and exclusive with Dave Coldwell. Hopefully with Dave. We'll do Dave next week regardless, because it'll be really interesting to see whatever way the fight goes. But hopefully Tony Bellew will be with us with that lovely new shiny belt. Yeah, good luck, Tony, if you're watching the show, which you're probably not, but good luck. And hopefully we'll get you on next week. So for myself, Spencer Oliver.
Me, Darren Barker.
This is The Live Show.